Arjo. You guys have been using our bed now for almost 4 years, but you don't see them that often. So there's a lot of times we have to do refreshers on this particular bed. Let me just ask right now, what are some of the common problems you're having so I can make sure I address them?
It's locked up.
It locks up and you
Locks
can't
up.
move anything?
And all the lights are blinking.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. What else? What else? That's easy. Anything else?
Pressure distribution, like the alarm keeps going off and you can't.
Okay.
Stop.
There's only 2 alarms on this bed, just so you know, the exit alarm and when you have it in the wrong mode alarm, and we'll go over that as well. Anything else? Okay, so the bed is a rental bed, which means it's for that one patient only, okay? It's gonna come covered in clear plastic, you guys know that, right? Take it off. It also comes with a nurse call cable that you have to plug in. Very important, because this is what's gonna trigger through the call system. Do you guys know about this? Okay, very good. It, when it's DC and it's dirty, don't clean it. Unless it's like in a C diff room, you can wipe it down. This is a JACO requirement that designates a bed as dirty. Okay, very important that this is covered. And it helps my guys locate the dirty beds, okay? And it won't get reused, because I've had patients get put on dirty beds. Not good, not good for nosocomial. All right, the first thing you need to do is zero the bed. You guys have zeroed beds a million times, right? It's the little zero button there. But here's the catch. Wait till it clears before you put your patient on. Because if you put the patient on while it's still lit up, you could potentially zero the patient to 0, which is gonna completely throw off your egress. Okay? Once it clears, you put your patient on. The number one problem I have here is that people are pressing the wrong button to get the weight. Look at the 0. There's 2 buttons next to it. You got this one and this one. Which one do you think is the one to get the patient's weight? You got a 50-50 chance.
Well, the person.
Yes, very good. When I press the person in the scale, that's gonna give me my weight. I can bounce from pounds to kilos. But would you believe that half the people in this hospital are pressing that other button because it looks like a scale? Okay? Bad button to press, because that's gonna give you all your problems. Okay?
Why do they have it? Why do
I
they have
hate-
the purpose?
I hate that button because it drives me up the wall because of situations like this. When that is the add or subtract equipment button. Here's a scenario. Here's a scenario. You have the patient sick in the bed, more critical care, okay? Patient is very labile, you barely turn them, they desat. You're about to add a bunch of equipment to the bed. You don't wanna have to get them out of bed to re-zero the bed with all the new equipment. What this does, it's really nice. You press it, especially for us critical care nurses. You press it, and the bed is gonna go into what we call auto compensation. What that means, auto means the bed is frozen, so you can add, subtract, and it will not count it. The problem is that people leave it in auto mode. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Yes.
Number one cause of all your problems. I just put 10 pumps on there. If I press this again, it's gonna subtract all those 10 pumps, do the math, take me back to my original weight, and I never have to get the patient out of bed. It's a wonderful feature if you know how to use it. And we walk the hospital, half the beds say auto.
Yeah.
And then after a couple hours, the bed's like, holy crap, what's going on? They're still adding boom, flash, light, freeze, everything. Requiring you to have to reset the bed by calling us. Or if you already know the secret, you press the up and down green button and it'll reset it. If you're having to do that because of that, that's a problem. Just, if you ever see auto, when you walk into the room, first thing you want to do is turn it off so you don't have any problems, okay? If I see it, and all you gotta do is press the same button and it turns it off. Wonderful feature to have, but when people don't come to training or not educated, it causes chaos. The other thing you're gonna notice, we have these little clips here. That's where you hang your Foley's, your FMS, all your kind of peripherals. Because have you ever walked into a room and seen this on the screen?
Uh-huh.
AES.
I know that one.
anti-entrapment sensor. It's gonna drive you nuts because no matter what you do, the bed is not gonna lower, okay? Because the hospitals have asked bed manufacturers to design beds to keep them from destroying equipment, okay? So there's a little sensor, it goes all around the bed, that if I ever lower it and it hits something, it's gonna bounce right back up. I'm sure that's happened here many times. Here's the secret. Keep that screen clear. When you walk into the room, as long as that bed is clear, that screen is clear, you're not gonna have any problems. Okay, those are the two biggest things. Okay, any questions on those? All right.
Wait, so you walk in, it says AES, and then what do we do the
So
up and
that
down
means-
things?
No, that means something is under the bed. It could be a pillow that fell back here, it could be a Foley, because people are shoving things underneath and not utilizing the little clips. The clips keep it out of the garage door sensor, okay, all the way around the bed.
Because I feel like sometimes I've had that and I've tried to look to clear everything and then sometimes I still can't find, like, I'm like, where is the?
If the bed's been here a long time, this is not a knock at housekeeping, but dust bunnies that build up on the little rail right here will trigger it.
So should we wipe off the
You can wipe
sensor?
it.
If that would be another troubleshooting to do?
Sensor, I was like, where is
It's
Yeah, where is
very
it?
sensitive, but Biomed likes it because we're not pressure pumps.
Yeah, where's the sensor?
See these little clips right here?
Oh, that's
Oh, I
a
did not like
You just hang your Foley's, chest,
I
everything.
thought it was a little tiny metal bar.
No, this is for your straps, for like.
Oh, I thought that was where you were.
Wait,
those are the
If you look down here, there's these little black sensors, like your garage door, that go all around the bed right here. Just keep stuff out of that area. Super simple.
That's the garage.
All right,
That's
now-
the garage door.
day shift has come to the training, so they decide, hey, Mr. Jones he's trying to raise his head of bed, we don't want that, so we're gonna lock it out. You hit the lock button, see that little lock button? And I'm pressing all the controls so that Mr. Jones can't lock it, and then I exit out, so now Mr. Jones can't articulate the controls. Neither can the family member that's trying to help him, but neither can night shift, because they never came to the training, all right? Number one call we get at 2 a.m., the bed's not working. First question we ask, are all the lights lit up yellow? Because if you look closely, there's a little lock icon. They say yes, and we say, well, it's locked. To unlock, you go back into the lock menu, press the controls, and exit back out, and you're back in business, okay? Super simple, those are the three biggest problems we have, AES, auto, and that. Exit alarm, okay, very important. This right here is your exit alarm, I don't know if you all can see. You have to press the button till the light comes on, okay? Start in the middle. Do not move the light to the right because you're not gonna help your patient. By the time the patient gets out of bed, it'll trigger. This is a sensitivity, you got 10 levels of sensitivity. You want it in the middle, and the more acute your patient is, you want to drag it more to the left. Now, I recommended, at one point I said, hey, can we deliver the bed all set to the left? That would drive the whole ward unit crazy because it would be constantly going off if the patient barely moved his head, okay? But if you have somebody that's real good at trying to get out, just press the button, the other button, turn it back on, and then just drag it to the left. The farther left you go, the more sensitive it's gonna be, okay? That will trigger the bed alarm in the room through the call system, okay? It's not loud for a reason, because if you have two rooms, you don't wanna affect the other patient. To turn it off, don't hit the reset, you're just gonna silence it. Just press either one of those buttons to turn it off. Real simple to set, okay? Any questions on that? Pretty simple.
No,
Okay.
I would just add that we were seeing that patients were like climbing out of bed and the alarm was not going off.
Remember the very first thing I said about zeroing the bed? If you don't zero the bed correctly, let's say you put the patient on and you end up catching them at like maybe 10 pounds when they're really 180, that's gonna affect that exit alarm, okay? So we wanna make sure the screen goes completely before you put your patient on.
So if it wasn't zeroed and we walk in, this patient's been here for like 3 days or something.
Check the weight,
Okay.
and then if the weight matches, you're good. As long as the weight
That's
matches.
interesting.
So press that little,
Yeah.
the scale without
Make
the,
sure
or with
the-
the person.
Yeah, And
With
just
the
to make
person.
sure the weight's okay, that's what I would do.
And if it doesn't match, then we're gonna have to
Then
basically
you're gonna
lift them
have
up
to
and then
lift
put
them
them
up
back
and
down,
re-zero,
okay.
yes.
And re-zero.
We try to deliver the bed zeroed, but something can happen in transporters. Okay.
Oh, it's for
Any
easy.
questions on the side row? Would you believe it's exactly the same on the bariatric bed? Exactly the same. Okay, now on that handout that I give you guys,
Oh, where is it?
it tells you how to unlock the bed, the number one call, how to reset the bed, that AES, and the auto with the positive switch. Here's how to use the scales, the exit alarm. But as a wound care person, when you flip this over, this is the most important section. Okay, you heard the first alarm, that was the going through the call system. Okay, look at this, I don't want everybody to kind of hang out over here, but I just want you to understand that. When you look at this, okay, a lot of people don't mess with this, but the most important thing on this section here is that you have the therapy on. The therapy is going to be this last section. The light should always be at the very top. Should be on, default of 10 minutes. What that does, every 10 minutes, every other cushion deflates so that the patient is suspended in air by 2 cushions with 0 pressure here from the head to the toe. So 50% of the body has 0 pressure. That's great. And then after 10 minutes, it's going to inflate to the other half. And as it does that, it promotes lymphatic blood flow, circulation. This is why the Citadel is kind of as good as it gets when it comes to wound care, because we're able to manage that capillary blood flow and heal the wound. So much so that the FDA just gave us an indication for flaps and grafts on this, okay? So just FYI. Now, if you look at this other section here, there's 2 therapies, the one I just told you about, and then this one right here. That is continuous turn, okay? When I tell nurses, hey, this bed you can put on a continuous timer, and it does this, everybody gets excited because they think what?
I don't have to turn my
They
patient.
never have to turn the patient, but we all know that's not correct,
Right.
right? But what happens is, how I know that people are putting it on that setting, here's how I know. Tell me if you've ever heard this alarm.
And the laughing clown.
If you heard that alarm, okay, if you've heard that alarm, somebody had it on the turning setting, which is not good. That's what we don't want. The first therapy is better than the turning, okay? Because you get 0 pressure. So how do you get rid of this? You come over here. There's actually a little section right here. It'll tell you which light is lit up. It'll tell you, yeah, here we go. Either I lowered a side rail or I raised the bed up too high in a turning mode. If you go above 30 degrees while the bed is turning, it's going to trigger that as well. So you come over here, fix it. That was pretty obvious. Hit the alarm silence button and it goes away. Now watch this. Let's say I have it on a turning mode and then night shift comes on and they start to raise the head of bed. They don't have it on the correct therapy setting, the first one. Once they get to 31 degrees, they're gonna get that alarm. Why? Because if the bed turns, it's gonna kick the patient out of bed, okay? So if you're hearing that whack, whack, go back and fix the therapy, okay? So once again, it was head of bed, I lower it down, and then alarm go away. It's all on this little section where you fix it. But how do you avoid that alarm? Put it on the correct therapy, which is this one over here at the very top, okay? And if you wanna come look at the bed, I have it lit up just the way it is. Any questions on that?
Is that the one with the clocks? Is that or it's the
Yep,
one
it's
next
the
to it?
very, this goes together, the very top light and the 10 minutes should be lit up. If you wanna take a picture of it, you can,
Sorry.
but this is what it should look like. All your Citadel should